For the last month, I've been slowly losing my sanity by doing challenges that actually require using my singular brain cell to its max potential, which is not saying a lot. So after 3 lore clears and a 12-hour stream that didn't happen, I decided I want to spice up my Arknights gaming experience by speedrunning the intermezzi side stories since there are only 4 of them. However, I thought that would be too straightforward, so I added a wheel with some different handicaps to make my life as hard as broke as abs. So the rules for the speedrun: 1. Any challenge I get has to be used to clear the event and I can't change it. 2. If I fail a stage 3 times, then I have to restart the whole event from stage 1. So with those very basic rules set, I spun the wheel 4 times to get all of my challenges sorted before I started. After spinning the wheel 4 times, I got my challenges. 1. An Iron Man. 2. A Meta Slave. 3. A Killer Ops clear. 4. A Faction clear. And that is what it would have been, but my enemy thought my wheel was rigged, so I acquiesced to the viewers in chat and respun, landing me a 5-star clear of Undertides and a class niche clear of Stoltifera. So let's start with Arknights' first ever suffer% speedrun. First challenge in the suffer% speedrun was an Iron Man. For those of you that don't know what an Iron Man is, basically, if any of my operators commit the unalive due to my incompetence, then that operator is buried 6 feet under right next to Phantom's viability in his modules. I gave myself some leeway, so I allowed all operators, but to make things interesting, I ran with a 4 and 5 star main team. I cleared the event pretty easy until DM6. Arknights Memoir has some pretty dangerous enemies, but as long as you don't hit the flag bearer that wakes them up and buffs them, they are easy to take out. So I immediately hit the flag bearer for no real reason but the fact that I am 0 sanity. I get through it rather smoothly, but I forget about the real scary man of the hour, which is the caster that hits 2 operators at a time. Hogdanko is not only good at war crimes, but also at endangering her teammates since she wakes up the caster. Blue poisons KIA, and since I care for the safety of my employees, I sacrifice Rock to the bloodthirsty caster to save the rest of my team. I leave DM6 with 2 body bags. DM7 goes smoothly despite my best attempt to make budget cuts to employee salaries. DM8 is a pretty scary map with lots of big boys walking all around the place, but it's all avoidable as long as you don't hit the flag. Due to my lack of foresight, Myrtle wakes up all the enemies. In a vain attempt to save the run, I start deploying operators. Bagpipe is shot and killed by a caster. Shining Podenko soon follows suit. Myrtle and Pulsar are not long for this world, thus ending my first attempt at this stage. I didn't mention this, but since I failed, my whole team was killed. Luckily, there are 12 more replacements waiting for me to use. I brought an A team to clear the stage since I really did not want to lose another operator. I immediately burst the top left corner of Chen and Texas, and a flurry of skill activations, I hit Sally's skill which hits the flag bearer, waking up the entire map again. However, I am saved by 2 blue women who kill the caster quickly. Unfortunately, Flametail is hit with a sudden bout of skill issue and doesn't dodge. She perishes in a battle she probably should have survived, were it not for my severe case of skill issue. After that loss, we clear the stage, ending the first event of the speedrun, only losing 15 operators. The second challenge was I got to be nice to myself, and I got to use broken meta operators. Because of that, nothing interesting happened in the run since I was just unga bunga the entire time. And looking back, I should have re-rolled this option too, since we all are here just to watch me suffer. The only notable thing was that my WD8 was rather scuffed even with my broken team, since I don't have all the operators to do the funny Chen insta-kill. I instead went with the classic Ian strategy of throwing everything at the boss. This leads to Myrtle, the Destroyer of Worlds, being my lane holder for almost half the time. With a good Poji skill leaving the boss on 1 HP, it was time to not scuff the ending. With an activate Moinar skill and a Texas nuke, I cleared the last remaining dangerous enemies and cleared the stage. The third challenge was a 5-star clear of Undertides. Since I am a filthy meta slave, the 5 stars I do have raised are all rather random, leading to a very cursed and scuffed looking squad. This is what I thought would be my hardest event to clear. I'm not all too familiar with 5 stars and what they can do, but surprisingly it went rather smoothly. First hiccup I faced was due to my own inattention. In SV6 we finally meet the Eggy Boys that I'm sure are everyone's favorite enemy. And a big swarm that I didn't notice was a big swarm, Cantabile leaks leading to my first loss of the event. On the second attempt all was going fine until an unnoticed flyer gets through, but I clutch up with a Shamare deployment and the best sniper in the game, Liskarm, to take it down before it leaks. After some scuffing right at the end, we clear SV6. SV7 and 8 go rather smoothly, with some nice high moral Pluma gaming to take down the first attack. Going to the boss stage, I decided to do We Have the X2 Buff Army at Home strat with Warfarin buffs Mommy Dayo. I start the map by just throwing all my operators at the boss like a good global player does, while I wait for the DP to get Cruz and Warfarin. With 2 thighs Dayo buffs later, she shreds the boss and committing unalive. With the flower wilted, the rest is easy cleanup for La Pluma and Lappy. The last challenge was a class niche clear. Spinning the wheel again for classes, it landed on Specialist. That was a pretty lucky draw since after guards, my hopes were laying on Specialist since that class has a whole bunch of really good units. With the Abyssal Hunters doing broken things and Texas Alt doing even more broken things, the first 6 stages of Stoltifera went without incident. We reached the first real trouble stage, SN7. With a questionable early Gladia placement to get ready for the Fishy Boy, I noticed that my team ran short on DP for this map at the beginning. A bunch of Coom spreaders coming down the left, I used Waifu Silence to lessen the amount of room buzzing to use to clean up the creep off the floor. Due to focusing too much on the left side, I don't notice that a fish dog has overrun my shark, leading to a preventable leak. On the second attempt, I decided Dorothy's dog to be much smarter, and Spectre again goes on the right side. In a move I can only call genius, I put Wheatie in the middle lane, on skill 1. But my Wheatie placement does pay off when the same dog I lost to last time slips through. With a red stun, Wheatie's drone pushes it back out of the blue box. Gladius is mistakenly placed on the left side to hold. Once the fishy boy spawns, Clifford is used to insta-kill it, since end speaker lives do not matter. With the second phase, I realized I will not have the damage to be able to kill it. I leave it to a Texas and a Thermi-X to try to do enough damage. With my E1 level 1 Wheatie perishing, the fish inches closer. I attempt to save it, but an early red does not stun the boss and it walks in. I am now my last chance before I need to reset the entire event, effectively making the last 20 minutes mean nothing. On the third attempt, I start the same, but replace all left side lane holders with Wheatie, finally on S2. We reach halfway through the map safely, and Gladius is placed in the middle. Clifford is again used to kill the fish immediately. Using Thermi-X correctly, Texas is used to do a good amount of damage while the boss is debuffed. I'll use Gladius' skill to stall and wait for it to end, and then stun with red again. The final Texas placement saves me from having to reset the whole event. Asinate goes by smoothly, with Dorothy committing ethical explosions on the approaching Eldritch Abomination. Acid 9 is a map I thought I would struggle with more due to the Candle Boys doing so much damage when they are stealth. Then I remember I have a not Skid Zero Sharkman who does a balanced amount of damage with the rest 3. With Dorothy, Wheatie, and Gardia holding the line, it went rather smoothly. Again, using Waifu Silence to reduce the amount of creep I need to clean, let me use the Roombas on the Candle Boys to make Spectre's job easier. All in all, a pretty comfy clear, contrary to my expectations of failure. Entering the boss stage, I knew managing the top left would be the most difficult. As always, I spawn kill the Eldritch being as soon as I can. With Gladia holding the long lane and Spectre to support, Dorothy is used to kill the weaker enemies on the left side red box. With the first few spawn buffs, I let the big chungus walk by so I can kill it inside the blue box. This stops the feast from being double buffed. In its second phase, I try to do as much damage as I can, but unfortunately the end speaker focuses on Spectre. This keeps stunning her, meaning she doesn't actually get a chance to get a hit. I kill the second phase with red, but already I'm seeing failure in my future. I retreat Spectre so she can be in the way for its third phase. Same split boxing is done on the left to deny a double buff boss. In its third phase, I start to panic a little, not stunning the boss enough, which lets it walk past Spectre, leading to its death behind her via a balanced blue woman. The top left on the last phase is a little more tricky, due to the Candle Boys being so dummy thick, so I stun till Clifford gets her skill to be able to kill it. Gladia is also killed by the candle on her side, which makes things much worse. In the fourth phase, I struggle in vain, but I don't have enough damage to kill it, so it just waltzed in, leading to my failure. In my second attempt, I altered my team, adding a jellyfish with extraordinarily soft armpits, and a sleepy bird to help with the stall. My second attempt goes about the same, with the only change being, once the boss goes into the second phase, I place Mizuki on the top to do damage with its skill 3. Mizuki's S3 is able to do quite the amount of damage, with the only cost being Mizuki himself committing the unalive. In the third phase, I redeploy Mizuki next to Spectre and use Clifford as a blood sacrifice to the Eldritch Fish. This lets Spectre actually hit the boss, with Mizuki S3 killing the third phase rather quickly. This time, without a Mizuki gamer moment. Kafka stalling the right side Candleboy keeps Gladio alive for the fourth phase. With a second skill activation from Mizuki that does make him do a gamer move, I rotate stuns with Texas in the room on the boss. Defender Dia is able to tank and survive thanks to a balanced module, and with one last Texas placement, I kill the boss on the second try, ending this speedrun with a time of 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 55 seconds. This challenge turned out way easier than I intended, although this was done more as a proof of concept more than anything else. I'll attempt to do this again with different harder events and much more restrictive handicaps. So if you have any ideas on how to make me actually suffer while still letting the event be clearable, please let me know down in the comments. Also, due to having played so many stages, I decided to cut a lot of stuff for the sake of time and for this to not be an hour-long video. If you're curious to see how the whole run went, it was streamed, so the VOD is there for you to watch. It was a fun challenge overall, and I'll try my best to make the next suffer percent even worse for your entertainment. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Maybe consider liking and subscribing, every little bit helps. Till next time.